All right, good morning. We're on the record in docket 20-01722. That's Gateway Financial versus Dylan Crittenden. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record? And is that you, Mr. Schisler?
Good morning, Your Honor. May it please the court, Scott Schisler on behalf of Gateway Financial.
All right, and this is the time set for a hearing in this matter. As I look at my notes, this was initially extended. A control date was put out there to see if compliance was made. I don't see Mr. Crittenden in the courtroom. I don't see him in the Zoom courtroom. Mr. Schisler, how would you like to proceed today?
Your Honor, he has actually made every single payment, and so he is in compliance. At some point, we're going to need to up the amount, but with him not being there, I hate to set it aside because he is making payments. So maybe if we could just set it for like another control date 6 months down the road or something.
Is that? Yeah, it sounds like you're asking for 6 months.
Yeah, 4 months, 6 months, just some time to make sure that he's continuing to make his payments and that we can get back together.
Hello,
Well,
can you hear me now?
sir, on the cell phone, 894-1907, can you identify yourself?
My name is Keith Pyron.
All right, Mr. Pyron, you're here for 8:30. We're having a hearing right now, so you might want to mute yourself.
I might want to what?
Mute yourself so the courtroom doesn't hear you.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Schisler, I think that's probably sound. We'll probably set it a control date for 4 months out to see if how Mr. Crittenden. But you're saying up till now he's made all his payments. Is that correct?
That's correct. He's made, since April when we had the last one, he's made all of the $50 a month payments.
All right. So we'll set for control date.
March 6th next year at 8.
Continued compliance. And we'll set it for March 6th, 2023 at 8:30.
Okay. I will see you then.
All right.
Thanks.
That's all for the record. Docket 20-01722. Thank you for your appearance today, Mr. Schisler.
Thank you.
We'll go on the record in docket 22-01355. That's LG Lansing LLC versus Garland Smith. And this is the time set for, it looks like there was a motion to set aside a possession judgment and then a response to the motion to set aside. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
And sir, you Garland Smith, why don't you come up here? And you can sit on the corner here of the desk next to Mr. Wisty. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record?
Good morning, Your Honor. Hugh Woodrow, appearing on behalf of the plaintiffs.
Garland Smith, sir.
All right. So this is the time set, my understanding is, Mr. Smith, you sent what is a motion to set aside the possession judgment, and the reason for staying the motion was it looks like that you're alleging that the residence was somehow needed repair?
It's been like that for the last 3 to 4 years,
All right.
through last management and this current.
So, and I did have the opportunity to read some of your response, Mr. Woodrow, but I'll let you summarize it for me.
Certainly, Your Honor. I mean, the response is pretty basic. This is not a non-payment of rent case. It's a possession case. The defendant here has not stated any valid reason. One, we're missing the court dates, which ended up as being a default judgment because he failed to appear, nor has he stated a valid defense to there's no lease. It's not, again, it's not non-payment of rent. This is for possession. Our client actually presented him with a lease several months ago to sign, and he refused to sign it. So that's why we moved for this possession case. And again, the defendant has failed to state either any valid reason to set it aside or a valid defense to the possession case.
Yeah, and I have that the default judgment was requested for the fail to appear on October 19th. That this was initially, there was rental assistance that was looked forward to before that date. Mr. Garland, how do you respond to Mr. Woodrow's claim that you haven't claimed a defense and that the default was granted on October 19th for fail to appear?
Could you explain that a little bit more for me?
Well, we had a hearing and you failed to appear for the hearing.
Well, I missed the time. I didn't have the correct time, so I called up here and was told to come up here and go through the process that I'm going through now.
All right. And that was to set aside
Yes,
the judgment.
Yes, sir.
And then the question is there a valid reason to set aside the judgment?
I believe it is.
All right. And Mr. Woodrow, you're indicating that because this is not a non-payment case, it's a possession case. The indication is that the basic repairs are not a reason to set aside.
That is true, Your Honor. That's my
But Your Honor, they're not basic repairs. If I,
Let Mr. Woodrow finish.
I was gonna say, even if we were to set this aside and go to the argument, he hasn't put any money into escrow as required by the statute. The money, like we said, we did adjourn this one time for some type of rental assistance. That's failed as well.
That was July 20th, yes.
So, I mean, every defense that he has is not valid, and he hasn't raised any of these defenses about repairs in the past. This is now a last-ditch effort, in my opinion, to set this aside so he can continue to stay in there without paying any rent.
It is a little disconcerting, Mr. Smith, that this is the first time we're hearing of any repairs.
Your Honor, I have emails and text messages from the past management and the current management about the repairs.
All right, but
I know
there's nothing in front of the court.
I understand that. I know that now. Like I said, this is not my venue, so I don't know exactly what I need to bring. But I'm seeing what I need now.
Mr. Woodrow, how soon are you seeking possession in this matter in order for Mr. Smith to grant possession to you?
And again, sooner rather than later, Your Honor, this has been going on for 4 months now, where the case has been filed, I think, back in June originally. So it's not like this is a surprise to him. We've tried to work with him. He's refused to work with us. So, we didn't have much choice but to file this. Like I said, we gave him a new lease to sign. He refused to sign it. The inevitable conclusion on that is that he has to leave. He's not going to sign a lease. He's got to leave. So this isn't anything new that he didn't know about.
Mr. Smith, how soon can you vacate the property?
I've never not signed a lease. They never presented a lease to me.
Well, I mean, that's why you'd have a hearing, but we're beyond that.
We tried to make payments. I made 2 initial payments. This was before we came to court. We made an agreement that, yeah, we'll get on your repairs, put some money down. Then I made 2 payments after that and still nothing.
Sounds
I
like
was informed that I should put the money into the escrow. That's what I came down here and did. I didn't know that I should do that instead of keeping my money to the side and waiting on them to do what they're supposed to do. I didn't know any of that.
I guess, Mr. Smith, why do you want to live here if
I have nowhere else to go.
Well, how long would you need to find a new place?
2 months. I can pay the 2 months while I'm there, but I still need to find the place.
I saw that. Yeah, well, I mean, looks say it all right there. It's
Yeah,
like, you
I'm
know,
sorry. I mean, it's been an ongoing thing with the current management. They've been in place for almost a year now, and
Listen,
that,
and they have done nothing for any of the tenants in my unit. All you're doing is putting people out,
look,
raising rent.
Mr. Smith, this is a done deal. I'm just
I
trying,
understand that. I
yeah,
understand that.
I'm just trying to figure out a way that's a reasonable way to get you onto the next place in a reasonable fashion.
I need a month and a half.
I think 4 weeks is reasonable. I think that's a reasonable request. Although this has been ongoing, but I will, but I'll give you a month to get out.
Appreciate you,
Okay.
sir.
can we at least have it at the end of this month, John? I know it's just shy of a month, so that we have a clean start on December 1st.
December 1st. That, I think that's fair. Yeah.
Thank you.
So I will sign an order indicating that,
I'm not trying to be petty, but this is the 4th, so December 4th would be a month.
uh, well, let's see what December looks like here. We'll make it December 2nd, which is a Friday.
Thank you, sir.
December 2nd, which is a Friday at 5. So that's how I'll rule. December 2nd, 5, possession is to go to the plaintiff, and I'll sign an order to that effect when you get it to me, okay?
Question, if I'm not out by that date exactly,
Right.
what happens?
There'll be an order of eviction, the sheriff will come,
Gotcha.
okay?
Okay.
All right, so that's the date.
That's the
Okay,
date.
that's the date, all right? Anything else for the record, Mr. Woodrow?
No, Your Honor, I'll prepare an order and present it to the court this afternoon.
All right, anything else, Mr. Smith? We're all set.
We're all set.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
That's all for the record, docket 22-01-355.
Have a good day, Your Honor.
You too, thank you.
Excuse me, Your Honor. This is Saban Jackson. I was wondering if you were sitting in for Miss Buchanan, or I'm in the wrong courtroom. Hello?
Mr. Jackson, I am sitting in for Judge Buchanan, and I've been told that you're free to leave, that your case has been probably left on for next week, I would assume.
The prelim, right? I need to
I'm
know
sorry, I
that.
can't hear you, sir.
I need to know that for sure because I don't want to get to the prelim and then they talking about I'll
Yes, you know for sure that it's left on for next week.
Okay, for sure. Okay, thank you, Judge.
All right.
Have a good
Thank
day.
you.
Yes.
So on the record in docket 22-02022 GC, this is Theopolis Abosi versus Keith Pyron. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record? Sir, are you Theopolis Abosi?
Yeah, I'm.
All right. All right, you're breaking up, sir, on some level. And is Keith Pyron present?
Yes, he is.
All right, he's on the phone. Mr. Pyron, that's you on the phone? Is he muted?
I can't tell.
Mr. Pyron, is that you on the phone? All right, well, let's come back to that file. Mr. Bosi, I'm gonna have to come back to that file. I can't, I'm gonna call another case until Mr. Pyron joins us. And Mr. Bosi, you're breaking up, so
I'm right.
I'm really having trouble hearing you.
Yeah.
And I think Mr. Pyron left.
Yeah.
Hello?
You. I hear you well.
Hello?
Yes, on the cell phone 662-7409, would you please identify yourself?
That's Lonnie Faulkner? I have it on Zoom and on the phone thing here. I'm not sure which one you prefer.
What's your last name, sir?
Faulkner, Faulkner.
What's that?
His case was left on for exam and we do it here next week.
All right, Mr. Faulkner, your case
I
is
got the
left
right.
on.
I got the right number, right?
You do, Mr. Faulkner, and if you let me finish, your case is left on for preliminary examination next week, so you're free to go.
My stuff is left off for preliminary examination. Okay,
Correct.
so
Your case has been left on for preliminary examination next week. That Arkansas Judge Buchanan. So you need to appear in person next week. You need to appear in person next week for preliminary examination.
for preliminary examination. Okay, so I wasn't supposed to call here?
No, you're fine. You can call here, but you've been left on for preliminary examination for next week. This is a probable cause conference to see what's going on, and I've been informed that your case has been left on for next week.
It's left off? Honestly? Okay.
Your case is scheduled for next week, sir, so you have to appear in person.
Okay, so what does that mean, sir?
That means next week you need to appear in person for your preliminary examination.
Okay, what does preliminary examination mean though?
It's a probable cause hearing in which the people would have to prove by probable cause evidence that a crime is committed against you and the identity of the person who committed that crime. It's your file, so what's our preliminary exam? What's he set for?
November 10th. Tell him we'll need to call Mr. Plummer.
Okay, November 10th.
At 8:30.
Okay, so your preliminary examination is scheduled for November 10th at 8:30, and you should contact your public defender, Mr. Palmer.
Okay.
All right?
Okay, thank you. Do
You're
I have
welcome.
his number? I don't have his number.
I can talk to him, Judge, if you want to put me in the Zoom room.
All right, I'm gonna put you in the Zoom room with another public defender, and they'll answer some of your questions. All right,
I
sir?
don't know. I have his phone number. That's the only thing I want.
But I'm gonna put you in a breakout room with a public defender, and she'll answer any of your questions, okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So let's put Mr. Faulkner in a breakout room with Ms. Robinson when she gets on. And let's call to the record docket 22-02200. That's Mylan Stitka versus Brianna Horrigan. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record?
Good morning, Your Honor. I'm Grace Miller. I'm here on behalf of Liberty Mutual.
You're here on behalf of Liberty Mutual, who represents
Brianna, Oregon.
Brianna, the defendant in the case.
Correct, Your
All right.
Honor.
And is Mylan Sticka here, ma'am? All right.
That is me, Your Honor.
All right. So Mr. Sitka's here in person. This is the time set for a pretrial in this matter that I have. I also have a notice of hearing here. And then Ms. Miller, you filed a motion for summary disposition.
I did, Your Honor.
Did you want to address that before we get going on the pretrial, I assume?
If you'd like me to, I will.
Yeah, go ahead, ma'am.
I filed a motion for summary disposition based on the fact that the mini tort claim was already paid. Liberty paid Mr. Sticka $3,000 in full satisfaction. They paid the maximum amount. And because of that, there's nothing here at issue and we would like the case to be dismissed.
Mr. Sticka, your response?
Yes, my response is that is true. And my goal for here today was to present a short introductory speech and then also offer to retract the case.
And then what?
And to offer to dismiss the case or retract. Whatever.
All right. Well, how about this, Mr. Sticka, since you're the plaintiff, go ahead and make your brief introductory statement, and then I'll grant Ms. Miller's motion to dispose of the case. How's that
That'd be
sound?
amazing.
All right, Mr. Sticka, you may proceed today.
Thank you very much. This will be very short.
Okay.
Thing, and I apologize for wasting your time. But anyway, so my goal for this claim was to bring the case to mediation within the framework of the small claims court. However, this was overridden by Ms. Horrigan's decision that she would like to upgrade this to a civil court. So that's why we're here today. I will quickly describe the events that led me to file a claim, and then we can be on our way out.
Okay.
So on May 9, Ms. Horrigan ran a red light. She crashed into me, totaled my car. This has caused me hardship that lasts until today. Among other things, I didn't have funds available to buy a new car. I relied on coworkers to give me rides to and from work for many months. Ms. Horrigan was very apologetic on the day of the crash. She assured me she would be able to help me out and that I should not hesitate to contact her if I need help. So on May 18, I did just that. I contacted her. I asked if we could meet and discuss the situation. However, she replied she's strapped for cash and she cannot really help me. I said, okay, I understand. Let's talk again in 2 months. Maybe the situation improves. I contacted her again in 2 months. I got no answer. So at that point, I felt betrayed and angry. Yes, I did get some money from the mini tort thing. I felt betrayed and angry because I could not comprehend how a person turns from being very apologetic to practically indifferent and is able to just brush off the idea that some other person needs help. But I have decided that she needs to feel consequences of her actions. So I filed the small claims, knowing well that I would have no legal way of winning any compensation, as we have the no-fault law here in Michigan.
Right.
But my goal, as I stated previously, was to physically summon Ms. Horrigan to mediation so that she can have a chance to reflect on her actions and relive with me the hardship she has caused me. Mediation was scheduled on October 7. I showed up for mediation session. I was the only party there. I didn't know what to think of it, but mediation ended. The mediator said, okay, this is strange. The other party didn't show up, whatever. Several days later, I got a letter in the mail where I discovered that Ms. Horgan actually filed a motion to move this case here
To district court.
to district court. Hence, the mediation session was rendered obsolete. Again, I only found this out about 4 days later. So that to me felt like a unnecessary blow. Ms. Horgan had plenty of time to move this to civil court and inform either the mediator or me that the mediation session is no longer relevant. However, she deliberately chose to do it in such a way that I would not be able to get the correspondence in time. So I did not appreciate that. Also, it looks like her previous claim that she had no money and that's why she cannot help me is quickly discarded because she did not hesitate to hire a lawyer to help her with this trivial case that should have not left a small claims court, in my opinion. And although I'm not going to achieve any monetary compensation today, and I'm going to retract the case right after I'm done talking, I was hoping that she could reflect on her actions and the hardship she has caused me, because the mini tort compensation that I was awarded was not nearly enough to fully satisfy my losses. That's
Thank
all I
you.
have to say.
Ms. Miller, did you have anything to say in response?
I do not, Your Honor.
All right, I'm going to grant your motion for summary disposition based on the mini tort action. And also I'm going to grant your order for motion for dismissal. I noticed on your order, ma'am, it's got a different case number. It's got a circuit court. Did you want to follow up with another order?
I will, Your Honor, if you
All
would
right.
like me to.
Yeah, well, it's got an order for dismissal, and then it's got a circuit court judge, and then it's got a different case number. We lined out the case number and placed the district court number on it. But if you followed up with an order for summary disposition, I'll sign it.
Great, I will do that. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And then Mr. Stitka, based on what you've indicated today, I've granted the motion for summary disposition. You were moving to retract anyway the case. So you're free to go. All right.
Okay.
You're all set today. I think we've made a record of what you've said, and we're all set. All right.
Can I ask what are the next steps here?
This case is dismissed now. All right. All
Thank
right.
you.
So that's all for the record. 22-02200. Thank you for your appearance, sir. Thank you, Ms. Miller.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
Who's that?
Mr. Mitchell, you're
sir.
here for your 9 o'clock probable cause conference for Judge Buchanan.
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
All right, that's been left on for preliminary examination for next week. So if you have any questions, you should contact your public defender, Mr. Palmer, okay?
Okay.
But at this point in time, it's left on for preliminary examination next week in front of Judge Buchanan.
Okay. And he'll have all the
All right.
information of what time and date.
It would be, let me make sure and check that for you, okay?
Okay, thank you.
So you're set for preliminary examination in front of Judge Buchanan on November 10th at 9 o'clock.
November 10th at 9 o'clock.
So, yeah, so November 10th at 9 o'clock, and you should, if you have any questions, contact your public defender, Mr. Palmer, okay?
Okay. Thank you
All
very
right,
much.
thank you, sir. You're free to leave.
All right, thank you.
Ms. Housefield? Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Ms. Housefield.
Good morning, Ernest.
Mr. Abosi, are you still with us? Mr. Abosi? Mr. Pyron, are you still with us?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I had Mr. Abosi here and then he left the courtroom. I'm gonna wait for him to come back, so stand by.
Okay, Your Honor.
Good morning, Judge.
Mr. Feigelson, what case are you here on?
If I'm here on two, I do believe Miss Scott might be here on Zoom this morning, Your Honor. I don't know if Mr. Swathwood is checked in yet or not, Your Honor.
All right, so that's Allison Scott, and that's a Miss Ginseng case.
That's correct, Your Honor.
And is that Allison Scott on the Samsung?
I believe it is, Your Honor.
Ma'am, can you hear me on the Samsung?
No, the Sam is a Motorola.
I don't think she's connected to audio. Is she connected to audio? The Samsung? No. So, Mr. Feigelson, your client's not connected to audio at this time.
Yeah, I see that, Your Honor. Thank you. I don't know if Mr. Swathwood is on Zoom. Is he in the courtroom, Your Honor?
There's nobody in the courtroom.
Other than who I can see, and it doesn't. Those,
Yeah.
neither of those two are him.
The cheese, French.
That's Mr. Swathwood. That's one of my cases. Do you see Mr. Swathwood, Mr.
French
Wisty?
right, French chauffeur.
Yeah. All right, who's talking?
Miss Scott, can you hear us? Miss Scott, I need you to turn your volume on, please.
That's where
Let's put that on the record.
Oh.
or if we want to
We don't
leave
have
it
any
on.
PCC card.
All right, so we're on the record in docket 22-01904. People of the state of Michigan versus Terrell S. Duncan. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record?
Jake Wisty on behalf of the people.
And this is the time set for a probable cause conference. I don't think Mr. Duncan or Mr. Carter are here. Mr. Wisty, Mr. Carter's a new lawyer in this case. So if you want to explain why we're just going to leave this on for preliminary examination today.
Yes, my understanding is for whatever reason, Mr. Carter did not get notified of this until yesterday or possibly the day before. He's preoccupied in a jury trial in another county. There had been some discussion about converting the probable cause of the preliminary exam next week to a probable cause conference. Given the need for a waiver, my understanding is what we're gonna do today is leave it on for a preliminary examination.
That's my understanding too, just that Mr. Carter is in trial today. He's brand new on the case. We'll just leave it on for probable cause for preliminary examination and go from there. And then we'll address any 21-day issues at that time with Mr. Carter present. Anything else for the record in docket 22-01904, Mr. Wisty?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. That's all for the record in this one.
I believe we can move Caswell.
Is Caswell here or?
He's an Eaton County judge.
All right. So we're on the record in docket 22-00980. People of the state of Michigan versus Justin Caswell. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record?
Jake Westy on behalf of the people.
Aaron Robinson, Assistant Public Defender on behalf of Mr. Caswell.
And this is the time set for probable cause conference involving Mr. Caswell. Mr. Wisty, how are we proceeding today?
We'd like it left on for the preliminary examination. And Mr. Caswell, I understand, needs to be ready over for that.
All right. Is that your understanding, Ms. Robinson?
It is, Your Honor. Thank you.
He's in Eaton County?
Correct.
All right. So we'll leave this on for preliminary examination on November 10th at 9:30. And I'll indicate for the file that the defendants in Eaton County needs to be written out. Anything else for the file in docket 22-00980, Mr. Wisty?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Robinson?
No, Your Honor.
All right,
you.
thank you. That's all for the record in that file.
And if we can call Swathwood,
Swathwood.
what he wasn't in the hallway to think.
All right. So we're on the record in docket 22-00277. Mr. Feigelson, is that your case?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
All right. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record?
Jake Westy on behalf of the people.
Good morning, Your Honor. Assistant Public Defender Stephen Feigelson, appearing on behalf of Mr. Swathwood, Your Honor.
All right, this is the time set for a probable cause conference. It's now 9:13. This case was scheduled for 8:30. And I've checked the Zoom courtroom and I don't see Mr. Swathwood, and he is not present in the physical courtroom. We called his name in the hallway. Mr. Wisty, how would you like to proceed today?
Your Honor, the people would request a bench warrant.
Mr. Feigelson?
Judge, a couple of things. This is this is first non-appearance, Your Honor. This is a non-assaultive crime. I'd ask for a 72-hour hold, Your Honor. I have not had any direct contact with Mr. Swathwood. I've had conversations with pretrial services. They have not either. I know they've had some emails with Mr. Swathwood, but have not heard from him. I would just ask that there be a 72-hour hold in the event I can find him and make him available to the court before that point.
Mr. Wisty?
I have no objection to that. Those.
All right. And Mr. Feigelson, you're asking for a 72-hour hold because it's a Friday?
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor. Well, and because it's a non-assaultive crime and it's his first failing to appear, Your Honor.
Generally, it's a 48-hour hold, isn't it?
You may be right. I apologize for the 72.
All right, but so I will grant the defendants, the prosecutor's motion for bond forfeiture and bench warrant, and I'll place a 48-hour hold. We'll place a hold till Monday at 5.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Feigelson. Anything else for the record on docket 22-00277, Mr. Wisty?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Feigelson?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right.
Pretty good. The stuffed one, so she's like cream cheese. Then I'll put 2 in there.
All right, we're on the record, Mr. Tortora. We're on the record in docket 22-02970, People of the State of Michigan versus James Tortora. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record?
Morning, Your Honor. Victoria Shinzing on behalf of the people. Good morning. Tiffany Shelton with Ingham County Public Defender's Office here on behalf of Mr. Tortora, who's appearing today via Zoom.
Sir, you are James Tortora. You're gonna have to unmute yourself, sir.
Okay, I got it. Yes.
You are James Tortora?
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning.
All right. This is the time set for a probable cause conference, handling the case for Judge Buchanan. Ms. Shinsing, how are we proceeding today?
Thank you, Your Honor. I believe we're leaving it set, but I will defer to Ms. Shelton.
Ms. Shelton?
That's correct, Judge. We're going to leave the matter set for preliminary examination. To my understanding, there's no offers at the district court level.
All right. So, Mr. Tortora, you're set for preliminary examination, which has been left on for November 10th at 9 a.m. next week. And if you have any questions, please keep in contact with your attorney, Tiffany Shelton from the Public Defender's Office, all right?
Yes, sir. Yes, I will.
All right. So it's left on for November 10th, 2022 in front of Judge Buchanan. Anything else for the record, Ms. Shinsing?
Nothing for the people, Your Honor.
Coming in person for that, correct?
No, Judge, thank you. And yes, Mr. Tortora, you need to be here in person next week.
Yeah,
Yes,
you have to be
okay,
live
yes,
next
sir.
week. All right, thank you.
Very
That's all for the record in 22-02970. Mr. Tortora, you're
All right,
free
y'all
to
have
leave
a
the
good
Zoom
week.
court.
Okay. Good.
All right. Ms. Bullock, we'll call your case.
Okay.
All right, we're on the record in docket 22-02868, People of the State of Michigan versus Shakia Bullock. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record?
Victoria Shinzing on behalf of the people.
Shakia Bullock.
All right, and this is the time set for a probable cause conference Ms. Bullock, you are not represented by counsel today?
Correct.
All right. Did you plan to seek counsel or seek representation with the public defender's office or to seek counsel on your own?
Yeah. The public defendant's office, I still haven't heard anything back from them, so they gave me a number to call when I get out of court.
So you have a number to call the public defender's office?
Correct. This be about my application to get a public defender.
Okay. Have you already made application?
Yes, when I got my PR bond.
So did you call the public defender's office and give them your financial information?
No, I didn't know to call anybody.
All right.
They just
So-
said that when I was released, they just said they had contact me, and I still haven't heard anything. So
No, I think you need to reach out to them.
okay.
Do you need their number, ma'am?
No, the person for the first judge had gave me the number.
All right. Ms. Shinsing, should we just leave this on for prelim at this point?
Yeah, Your Honor, I can reach out to the court early next week and see if she has counsel at that point. You know, this is a victim crime, so I prefer not to bring the witnesses in twice, but we can
Right.
get set.
And I don't have, all right, so this is left on for prelim on, I have November 10th at 8:30. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. In the meantime, Ms. Bullock, you should touch base with the public defender's office to make sure that you make an application so you're represented next week, okay?
Okay.
All right, so this case is left on for November 10th, 2022 at 8:30. Anything else for the record, docket 2202-868? Ms. Shinsing?
Nothing for the people, Your Honor. Thank you.
Ms. Bullock, any questions of me?
No.
All right, that's all for the record in this file. Thank you. I don't see our civil case. All right, so we're on the record in docket 2202-022. On the cell phone, is that you, Mr. Pyron?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we had Mr. Abosi here, and there was some technical difficulties. This is set for motion today. I'm going to reschedule this as a live hearing, okay?
Yes, Your Honor. So we have to come down to the physical courtroom, correct?
Correct. That's correct, sir.
Oh.
So I'll
I
reset
prefer
this.
that anyway.
All right.
I prefer that anyway, Your Honor. I'm 65 and I can't do all this Zoom stuff.
Well, you and me both, all right? You and me both. So we'll set it for live hearing. Let me get a date and time. We'll do it afternoon. I think it's gonna be, it's gonna be. So we'll set it for a hearing for December 27th at 2:00.
December 27th.
And that way, Mr. Pyron, you'll be here, and so will Mr. Abosi, who obviously had some technical difficulties. We'll set it for hearing on that date, okay?
All righty. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, we'll see you on the 27th, sir.
Okay, thank you. You have a nice afternoon.
You too. And then I will Scott. So I'm on the record in docket 22-2877. People of the state of Michigan versus Allison Scott. This is a probable cause conference set in front of Judge Buchanan that I'm stepping in for. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record?
Victoria Shinzing on behalf of the people.
And Mr. Feigelson, you're here on Allison Scott?
Yes, Your Honor, I am.
All right. And ma'am, you are Allison Scott? You're gonna have to unmute yourself, ma'am.
Oh, I always need it. Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you can hear me all right, Ms. Scott?
Yes.
All right. Ms. Shinzing, this is the time set for a probable cause conference. How are we proceeding today?
Your Honor, it's my understanding that Ms. Scott is going to plead to use of a controlled substance under 333.74042A with 7411.
And my understanding is use is a 1-year misdemeanor. And is that and/or $500?
It's and/or 2,000, Your Honor.
2,000?
That's correct.
And Ms. Scott, is that your understanding that you will be, is Ms. Scott represent, Mr. Feigelson, is that your understanding of what Ms. Scott's going to be doing today?
Yes, Your Honor.
So I'll restate that for the record. The defendant's going to plead to use of a controlled substance under 333.74042A, maximum penalty of 1 year and/or $2,000. There's a Killebrew agreement of 7411 status. Is that a fair and accurate statement of the plea negotiations, Mr. Feigelson?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Ms. Scott, you understand that I'm going to take the plea today, but you would be sentenced by a different judge, Judge Buchanan, in regards to your sentencing. Mr. Feigelson, do you waive the pleading judge, the judge who's taking the plea, doing the sentencing, and it will be sentenced by Judge Buchanan?
Yes, Your Honor, I do. Yes, Your Honor, we do.
All right. All right, thank you. Yeah, inquire of your clients of their advice and rights, Mr. Feigelson.
You may, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Ms. Scott, you have certain rights in this misdemeanor, and I'm going to walk you through those rights, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. First of all, the maximum penalty you could face is 1 year and/or $2,000 to a plea to the use. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And there is a Killebrew agreement that you'll be given 7411 status. If you do not receive 7411 status, of course, you could withdraw your plea. You understand that, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. You have certain rights that you'll be giving up if you plead guilty today, and I'll walk you through those rights. You have a right to a trial. You have the right to be tried by a jury. You have the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty. You have the right to have the prosecutor prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you are guilty. You have the right to have witnesses against you appear at trial. You have the right to question those witnesses against you at trial. You, of course, are represented by Public Defender Stephen Feigelson, and he would be available to contest any charges and cross-examine any witnesses brought by the state against you. Do you understand that, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you have the right to have the court order any witnesses, the defendant that you may have to appear at trial. You have the right to remain silent during the trial. You have the right not to have that silent used against you in a court of law. And you have the right to testify at trial if you choose to testify. Do you understand that, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
If your plea is accepted, you will be giving up any claim that the plea was a result of any promises other than the plea agreement or threats that it was not your choice to plead guilty. Do you understand that, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor.
And of course, you'd be giving up the right to appeal any trial rights because you're not going to have a trial today. You're pleading guilty today. Are you pleading guilty today because you are guilty, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm going to have you raise your right hand then for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty of perjury?
Yes, I do.
Okay, I'm going to bring your attention back to this added count 2 of use of a narcotic or controlled substance where you at 427 West Maple, City of Lansing, Ingham County on October 23rd, 2022.
Yes, sir.
And at that time and at that location, can you tell me in count two why you're guilty of the use of a narcotic? What happened, ma'am?
The officers were called for a different reason, and they found that on me.
So they found the narcotic on you?
Yes,
What did they find on you, ma'am?
cocaine.
And you knew it was cocaine at the time they found it on you?
Yes, sir.
All right. I find the factual basis for the count one of possession cocaine to be adequate for the count two use of cocaine with a 1 year. Any questions of the factual basis, Ms. Shinsing?
No, Your Honor.
Any questions, Mr. Feigelson, on the
No, Your
factual
Honor.
basis? All right, I'm gonna set this for sentencing in front of Judge Buchanan on January 3rd at 8:30. And so, Ms. Scott, you should report to probation and give them a report for the sentencing judge would be Judge Buchanan by Tuesday at 5, okay? Tuesday at 4.
Okay, so just a probation course. I can find a number.
Yeah, so report to probation by Tuesday at 4. And I can give you a number for that agency, but you should report live or talk to them.
Okay.
So probation department number is 517.
Okay.
You don't have a pen?
No, I'm gonna have to use my head.
All right, or you can contact Mr. Feigelson and he'll give you the number. I can state it for the record, but
okay.
Or you can look up to see what the public defender's number is. It's 517-679-2979. Regardless, report to them live by Tuesday at 5 so they can do a report for the judge.
Okay.
By 4.
Miss Scott, they're in the city hall at 124 West Michigan on the 5th floor. I would just report there.
Okay, I can do that.
All right.
Thank you.
And do that by 4 on Tuesday, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Anything else for the record in docket 22022877, Ms. Shinsing?
Nothing for the people, Your Honor.
Mr. Feigelson, anything else?
Nothing on behalf of Miss Scott. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Scott. Judge Buchanan will see you on January 3rd at 8:30.
All right, thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
So we're on the record in docket 22-02-883, People of the State of Michigan versus William Cooper. This is the time set for a probable cause conference in front of this court. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record?
Jake Wisty on behalf of the people.
And Scott Nickel on behalf of Mr. Cooper, who I believe is present over Zoom, or at least he was earlier this morning.
Let's let them all in and we'll find out.
Take care of one thing real quick right here.
Travis Lane.
Yes.
Sir, would you please identify yourself?
Travis Lane Jr.
All right, and Mr. Taylor. And on the Moto G stylus, would you identify yourself?
Mr. Nathan Scott Montague.
Your Honor, I'll pop on a Zoom quick. I need to talk to Mr. Lane.
Mr. Lane?
Yeah, we're just
Okay.
gonna leave it on for the preliminary examination, but I have another issue which I need to talk about
Okay.
right now.
All
Thank you.
right. So we'll place Mr. Sark and Mr. Lane in a breakout room. Do you see Mr. Scott? Is that Mr. Cooper, Mr. Nickel?
I don't see him. What I can tell the court is he was here earlier this morning. I talked to him. The plan is to leave it set for
All right.
preliminary exam next
I
week.
think we're fine. So if you're good, I'm good. All right. So this is the time set for probable cause conference. Mr. Wisty, how are we proceeding today?
We're leaving this matter on for preliminary examination.
And that's your understanding, Mr. Nickel?
That is correct.
And you can go ahead and make a record. You previously spoke to your client earlier today. And that
Yes.
was your understanding.
Yes, that was our understanding, is that we were going to be leaving it on, and I don't know if he just assumed from the nature of our conversation that he was free to go, but he was here. And I've had contact.
All right, perfect. So we'll leave on for preliminary examination on for November 10th at 9:30. Anything else for the record, Mr. Wisty, in docket 22-02-883?
No, Your Honor.
Anything, Mr. Nickel?
No, Your Honor.
All right, we're all set. Thank you for your appearance today.
Thank you.
And then, Mr. Wisty, did you have another file?
We had Lane with Mr.
Oh, Mr. Lane.
But I believe Mr. Taylor is here. I think we're gonna leave that on for an exam.
Yeah. All right. So we're on the record in docket 22-02975. People of the State of Michigan versus Kawan Taylor. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record?
Victoria Shinzing on behalf of the people.
Good morning again, Your Honor. Assistant Public Defender Stephen Feigelson, appearing on behalf of Mr. Taylor.
Sir, you are Kawan Taylor,
Yes.
and you can hear me all right, Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
All right, this is time set for a probable cause conference on a Judge Buchanan case. Ms. Shinsing, how are we proceeding today?
Your Honor, it's my understanding we are leaving this set for preliminary examination next week.
And is that your understanding, Mr. Feigelson?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
And so, Mr. Feigelson, it's your understanding, your client's understanding, we're leaving it on for November 10th, 2022 at 9:30?
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right, can I double check the spelling of your client's name for the file?
You
Because
may, Your Honor.
we might have it. All right, Mr. Taylor, how do you spell your name?
Kawaun.
Kawaun. Does that work? All right. Thank you, Mr. Taylor. I just want to make sure we had the correct spelling in the file. So this is left on for next week in front of Judge Buchanan on November 10th. Mr. Taylor, please keep in contact with your public defender, Mr. Feigelson, if you have any questions, okay?
Okay.
All right. Anything else for the record in docket 2202-975, Ms. Shinsing?
Nothing for the people, Your Honor.
Nothing
Mr.
on behalf of
Feigelson?
the- nothing on behalf of the defense, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Thank you, everybody, for your appearance. That's all for the record in the file.
All right, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Taylor, you're free to leave the Zoom courtroom.
All right, thank you.
Have a nice weekend, Your Honor.
You too, Mr. Feigelson. Thank you. Miss Gray, what case are you here on? And you'll have to unmute yourself. And on Moto G.
I'm
Okay,
sorry.
go ahead, Miss Gray.
I was trying to
Go
figure out how to unmute. I am here for the case of Rico Trevino Martinez. I'm mother.
Yeah, that case is on the docket. What judge is that case supposed to be in front of?
Your Honor,
I believe Flores.
Ms. Gray, that's been left on for preliminary examination for November 10th at 10 a.m.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Mm.
And on the Moto G Pure cell phone, can you identify yourself, please?
Nathan Scott Montague.
Okay, Mr. Montague. And then, ma'am, what on the Moto G Pure, what is your name? Ma'am? Is she connected audio? I don't know. Is Mr. Sartre still? I think he left. So Mr. Lane, I think your case is left on for preliminary examination. You had the opportunity to talk with your public defender, Mr. Sartz?
Oh, not yet. I don't have
Not
my
yet?
phone. No, I haven't had my phone. My probation officer had it and I still need to go get it back, but I talked to my probation officer.
That's not what I asked. Have you had the opportunity to talk to your public defender, Mr. Sartz, in a breakout room?
Oh, no, not yet. I haven't.
All right. Well, stand by and I'll put, there's Mr. Sartz there. I'll have you and Mr. Sartz placed in a breakout room.
I have an answer.
Mr. Abbott, you're here on the Williams case?
Yes, Lamarck Williams.
All right, is Mr. Williams going to join us by Polycom today?
I doubt it. He was in behavior modification cell yesterday. I don't think he gets out till later.
All right, do you just want to place that on the record then, that I'm assuming that's being left on?
Yeah, it's being left on. I spoke with him yesterday and I also spoke with Mr. Wisty. We'll just leave that on for preliminary exam.
All right, let's go ahead and put that on the record. You can indicate why your client's not here. So we're on the record in docket 22-02936. People of the state of Michigan versus Lamarck Williams. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record?
Jake Wisty on behalf of the people.
Good morning, Your Honor. John Abbott with the Ingham County Public Defender's Office representing Lamarck Williams by video. He's not present today, Your Honor, and I do not expect him to be present.
All right, this is a probable cause conference and you've had the opportunity to speak with Mr. Wisty. My understanding is we're leaving this on for prelim today.
Yes.
And you have had the opportunity to speak to your client. However, because of where he's at, he's not able to join us today.
I think that's the case. Yeah, I did speak with Lamarck yesterday, met with him, and but I'm not surprised that he's not available today.
All right. So this is being left on for preliminary examination on November 10th, 2022 at 10 a.m. Is that correct, Mr. Wisty?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything else for the record, docket 22-02936? Mr. Wisty?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Abbott?
Nothing, thank you.
All right, we'll see everybody here on next week.
We have a case with her.
Is that Ms. House? Mr. Sarts, we just left Mr. Lane on for prelim, is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor. He just.
All right, I
in the
just
interest of-
let him know. I just let him know that.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay,
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
go ahead.
Yeah, just in the interest of transparency and candor with the court, he does have an active warrant out of a case that we have in front of Judge Jamo, but he's going to turn himself in soon.
All right, all right, all right. Thank you, Mr. Sarts.
Thank you, Your Honor.
The Zoom version.
All right, we're on the record docket 22022752. People of the state of Michigan versus Nathan Montague. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Yes, sir.
Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record?
Thank you. Good morning, Your Honor. Erin Housefield on behalf of the people. Erin Robinson, Assistant Public Defender for Mr. Montague.
And sir, you are Nathan Montague?
Yes, sir.
All right. This is the time set for a probable cause conference. Ms. Housefield, how are we proceeding today?
Thank you, Your Honor. I have conveyed a misdemeanor offer to Ms. Robinson. It's my understanding from speaking with her off the record that parties will just continue this matter to preliminary examination next week.
All right, so it's set for prelim on November 10th, 2022 at 10 a.m. Is that a correct statement, Ms. Robinson?
It is, Your Honor. Mr. Montague is still considering the offer. He just wants a couple days to think about it, and I will update the court.
All right, Mr. Montague, this will be set for November 10th, 2022 at 10 a.m. Please keep in contact with your attorney, Erin Robinson, if you have any questions, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. That's all for the record docket 22022752.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Housefield. You're free to leave the Zoom courtroom, Mr. Montague.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Mr. Lane, your prelim has just been left on. All right,
Yes, sir.
so you're free to leave the Zoom courtroom today. Your preliminary examination is set for next week.
Okay.
Yeah, it's, Mr. Sarts, do you have anything else for Mr. Lane? Okay,
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
all right. It's been left on, that's November 10th, right? My prelims, yep. So for November 10th live, here in this courtroom.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Judge Flores.
Ms. Shinsing, how are you?
Good, how are you? Do we have an
Good.
update on Judge Buchanan's docket for Catherine Alvarez Matos or Joshua James?
I left that one on.
All right, so Joshua James, we're gonna put on the record here. That's just gonna be left on, right?
Well, I believe he is in custody downstairs coincidentally. And David was checking in on that status a minute ago. So
All right.
confirming that he is in custody downstairs.
All right. Did you hear that, Ms. Shinsing?
Okay, and then Catherine Alvarez is left on.
And then Catherine Alvarez is left on.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Which one is that?
Joshua James.
Okay.
So Ms. Shinsing, let's go ahead and put Mr. James on the record. I think we're just gonna leave that on. So we're on the record in docket 22-026969. People of the state of Michigan versus Joshua Lee James. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record?
Victoria Shinsing on behalf of the people.
And Luke Goodrich from the Public Defender's Office here to represent Mr. James.
Okay, and Mr. Goodrich, did you want to make a record in regards to the presence of Mr. James?
Your Honor, I just let the court know he is currently in custody down in lockup. We are asking that this matter be left on for exam next week. He is expected to be arraigned on a new matter this afternoon or tomorrow. And then I will run down and speak with him. Let him know.
Ms. Shinsing, any comment on this being left on for prelim on November 10th, 2022 at 9 a.m.?
No, Your Honor.
All right. So this is left on for preliminary examination in front of Judge Buchanan. Anything else for the record, Mr. Goodrich?
No, Your Honor.
Anything, Ms. Shinsing?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, that's all for the record, 22-02-969. Thank you for your appearances.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.